When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
It's that time again. We are back for another edition of After Hours. And of course, joining us as always is John Romano, Gregg Valentino, and once again, our good friend Carlo Filipponi has cooked us lunch. Did you cook us lunch today? Is that why we got you on?
I tell you what, I got my mom babysitting my daughter so I can do this here because I'm working from home now. And I made penne vodka. John, you would appreciate it today.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh, I like that.
Butter, heavy cream, the whole deal, the whole
True story. I ordered penne vodka once in South Carolina. I've told the story before. I got macaroni and cheese. That's what I got.
No.
No
way.
They didn't know what I was when I got here. People say people find out I'm Italian, and then they start talking to me like I'm an oddity. Like I
You can't leave New York, though. You can't leave New York or New Jersey.
I got mac and cheese. That's exactly what they gave me.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck all that. We were having a great conversation.
Yeah, so what was the conversation you had? I had a different conversation, but what were you guys talking about when I wasn't listening?
We'll get to it. Carlo was reminiscing about the 92 Nationals.
93 USAs. I was talking about that with Dave, before with Greg and John, before we got started, Dave, and we were just talking about, how the argument is that, you don't take people out of their error and you want to make error comparisons.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I get tickled because I remember going out to California at the time the USA was still in California, and I was good friends with Vinny Galante.
Right.
And I had actually, 93 was the first full year that I competed. So I had actually sent in my application for the USA, planned on competing at the USA, except 2 weeks prior or whatever it was, I went to Junior Nationals and finished 7th. So I saw the writing on the wall. I said, what's the sense of going out to the USA? You're not going to win. Don't bother to go.
Right.
So I wound up taking a vacation. And I was talking about the depth of the lineup like that. And that year, Chris Cormier won. Mike Francis, however you call him, finished second. Okay. Third was Paul DeMeo. Fourth was Craig Titus. Fifth was a guy, Ken Castagnoli.
Yeah, he was good.
But out of the top five, there was Dennis Newman. There was Edgar Fletcher. There was Leo Ingram, who later turned pro, and so many other guys. And my point was this. I said, if you looked at that lineup, right, that was 1993, you're talking about, 26 years later, right? 26 years later, you're talking about all these guys who eventually wound up turning pro. If you look at the lineups today, in 26 years, you're going to check off the list of guys that will be dead because of all the chemicals and all the crap that they took, to get there.
You know what, Carlo? The physiques aren't demonstratively better. They're worse. In fact,
significantly worse.
Or worse. There was a video on an interview of Ronnie Coleman and Dorian Yates on YouTube. You can search it, and the interview is showing him a picture of Mr. Olympia, and
Patrick Bet David. Yeah.
What's that?
Patrick Bet David was interviewing them. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ronnie's response is hysterical. He's cracking up.
I saw
that. Top five.
Yeah, but you know what? If you saw Sergio Oliva back in the fucking 60s and 70s, bro, he had the same mass these guys have today. The only difference is his waist was small. Who had big? I mean, look at the size of his arms back then. Just the width of his shoulders, right? The thickness through the chest and back, those legs. But Sergio Oliva, to me, had the muscle of the guys today. It's just that he didn't have that fucking giant ass and giant fucking waist.
But to be fair, he didn't have that grainy, hard separation that Dorian had,
He was hard enough, though. To me, that doesn't look good, though.
But in that 90s era where Carlo's talking about, you had everything. You had small waist, you had crazy conditioning, striated glutes, and dry, hard, full muscle bellies, tiny waist.
Here's my take on the whole thing. I look at these, I analyze the Nationals, the USA, the North America, because I have to analyze them, I have to interview these guys. What I noticed that's different, this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give props and I'm going to take away the props also at the same time. The guys today, I think on a whole, if you look at the top five, are in better condition. I think guys are getting leaner today because we have better dieting techniques, we have better, protocols in place, we have better fat burners. I think we know how to use the stuff better. I just think the genetic pool is not as good. And that could be an era thing. It could be that maybe guys just aren't going into it. Maybe the classic division is stealing some of these open guys away that have the guys with the great structures. when we saw those, when you mentioned those names, Cormier and Wheeler and DeMeo, I mean, those guys, Newman, those guys just had really blessed genetic structures. A lot of those guys didn't nail the conditioning. That's why they weren't winning. That's why a guy like, what's his name, Edgar Fletcher wouldn't make the top 5. I mean, no one was better than him structurally. He just couldn't, he used to cheat on his diet. Jim Mannion used to look out the window at the NPC gym and he'd see him on the corner eating donuts and stuff like that when he was supposed to be dieting because he lived in Pittsburgh. So I think the genetic pool was better during that era for whatever reason. It was the 90s. It was we just, sometimes you hit these eras where you get all these superstars. Today, the guys are really in better condition when you look at them as a whole. They just don't have the genetic, abilities of the guys from the 90s. But I think it has a lot to do with the fact that classic physique is stealing a lot of the talent pool.
I agree almost 100%. But if I may, classic is really just the advent of the classic has only been the past 5-6 years. There's been a consistent decline for many years now, I think, at the national level, at the highest level. Yes, you're correct. Everybody, top 5 across the board, probably better condition-wise, no question. But what I think too, Dave, and I love your take on it, John, Greg, I think that the guys aren't putting the time in the gym. Okay, they're not training properly. They're not building their biceps. They're not building their quads. So right, exactly. They're juicing up from the day they get in the gym. They're juicing up. You got guys. Ronnie Coleman didn't take drugs till he was in his 30s.
He didn't even know about drugs. That's the funny thing.
Know about it. Exactly.
Carlos,
so
how many times have you and I been in the gym? How many times have we seen guys in the gym who I'm not even saying their fucking names on here, but there's guys, a few guys, bro, who train. I mean, I seen a guy who does nothing but stand on a cable crossover and do curls, and he's fucking, top bodybuilder right now and shit. They don't. A lot of them guys do not bust their ass in the gym like the older guys did.
You had a guy like Vince Taylor able to compete in his 50s, for example, right? The guy never lifted crazy amounts of weight. The guy looked beautiful, okay? And he never really hurt himself, never tore a muscle. And that's because he just went into the gym, he put the work in, and he put the time in. The guys today, I mean, I coach people, Dave, as you have, right? These guys are turning 21, 22, if that. And they're like, hey, what should I take? I want to compete. Give me the protocol. And when you give them the protocol, you lay it out and you give them 500 milligrams of test and this and that. And they're like, oh, really? That's it? Oh, really? That's it? You haven't even started yet. Let's relax. Let's get going. And I think the drugs have made the bodies today, and that's why you see the better conditioning. Of course, they diet. I would never take anything away from a champion. I don't care whatever, right? You win your class, you win your class. You're a special athlete. You put the work in there. But I'm talking across the board. I remember going to the shows, and I was such a fan, still a fan. Okay, I was such a fan that I used to watch it like, oh, wow, there's Edgar Fletcher. Oh, wow, there's Dennis Newman. And I'd see them, and like every one of them looked like they could be a winner until, of course, they got put next to one another.
And I've said this before, though, too. Dorian, really raised the training bar, so to speak, because everyone said,
oh, yes,
Dorian was so good because of the way he trained. So we all wanted to train like him and lift heavy weights and do the heavy duty, lower volume training. And I think a lot of guys the training camaraderie, the training competition that instilled just made people want to just talk training all the time. I remember we would go to Bob Bonham's gym for Champions Day. The training information that was exchanged there was way more than the drug information. Don't get me wrong. We
100%.
talked about drugs, but it wasn't like a big deal because they were available at that time. But the training, it was like, how much do you lift? What do Bob's got 230-pound dumbbells. Who's going to do those, on rows? Who's going to press those? The training was so important, and I think you're right. I think that could
Dorian
be the
was skinny, though. Dorian was thin. When he first came up as a pro, he wasn't a big pro. I mean, I remember him when he won a Night of Champions. I was right there.
You know what, Greg? He told me he over-dieted for those first couple shows so much he probably could have been 15, 20 pounds bigger, he told me.
Oh yeah, because
I'm gonna say this. Go ahead, Carlo.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing is, so you did your cycle and then you stopped your cycle, and then you took your 8 weeks off, 10 weeks off, and then you got back on. So the growth was very nice and consistent. It wasn't this, I'm off, but you're not off because you're doing 500 milligrams of test for maintenance and 200 milligrams of DECA, and you're on growth the whole year long, right? So back then, and I remember, Dave, you and I have mutual friends who used to train heavy duty. If you might remember some of the names, Dale and Tommy Jimenez.
I know Dale, Tommy Jimenez.
They were blowing up like right in front of my face. I'm like, holy crap. Now, again, they started really up in the gear, up in the intensity with the training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But wait a minute, hold on. But in the 70s, John, because you and I are from that era, okay? In the 70s, guys like Danny Padilla would train 4 months out of the year, would actually not even touch a weight.
Yep.
That's why when Schwarzenegger in the movie Pumping Iron, he went in when there was 100 days or 101 days left to the Olympia, and he was all thin, and I wanted to get some muscle. It's because those guys actually would not even work out sometimes, take a break from steroids and working out, and would only train maybe half a year. Am I correct, John, or not?
Yeah, you are. But before we get too far away from the topic, I just wanted my take on this is you always see pictures of these guys today. They're like 3 or 4 weeks out, and they look massive and hard, and you're thinking, man, this guy's gonna dial in, and he's gonna be fucking amazing. And then he gets to the show, and he's smaller, softer. He's got like a film of water on him. I'm like, what happened? And here's what happens. Back in the day, okay, in the 80s and the 90s, especially the 90s, these guys showed up 2-3 weeks out, shredded, absolutely shredded, okay? And they didn't need, if they used a diuretic, it was a mild, if they needed. A lot of guys didn't use any diuretics, and they looked freaking amazing. Okay, now today it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's like all these gurus, you got to take diuretics. If you're gonna compete, you're doing diuretics. Period. End of story. Whether you need them or not. So they go on these 2-week protocols of diazide and aldactone and aldactazide and Lasix and blah, and then they show up to the show. All the water, if they're ripped, there's only so much fat holding water under the skin. The biggest tank of water is the muscle.
Right.
So where's the water going to come out of? It's going to come flowing out of the muscle. That's why they look smaller and softer, and they're not bringing that big cut, giant size that they had 2-3 weeks before they started this stupid fucking diuretics. So you only use diuretics if you absolutely need them. And you only need them if you didn't do your homework.
Well, you only really need them for 1 day, too. These guys are doing them for like you said, 7 to 10 days. And then they're taking insulin on top of that to try to fill out.
That's the fucking killer me.
What about the fact that they're really on cider
their guts filling
their
out.
muscle?
Really nice. Look, Les.
Got to use Slim. You got to use some Slim, John.
They got to run Slim. They got to run some Slim with the VAR.
Slim.
Yeah, they got to run Slim with their VAR. That's
You mean it's not vanadyl sulfate?
Hey, I got to change the subject for a minute. Did you see your friend there, Jack Owak, bought a crazy piece of property in Pembroke Pines?
Yeah, I saw that, man. Well, these guys making hundreds of millions of dollars.
$40 million he spent on like 250,000 square feet of like some kind of like I don't know. Do you know about it?
I think he's going to do $1 billion this year. His company.
Are you serious?
What company's that?
He did $300 million 2 years ago.
Wow.
The year before last.
What are you talking about, though? Who the fuck is this guy?
Jack Owak, who owns VPX and Bang Energy.
Oh, VPX. Oh, okay.
Bang Energy drink. Have you seen it?
Bang Energy.
Yeah, I used to drink the red line fucking shit and be like this.
Hi, John, how come he changed the name of Redline? Because that was a great name, I thought.
Well, Redline Energy is the parent company. Bang is the drink.
But why did he get rid of Redline? I thought it was a great name.
Because I guess it was too associated with sports, and he wanted to go mainstream.
Bang is mainstream.
Well,
yeah, fuck yeah, man.
Mainstream.
That shit's in AMP. You know what I mean? It's in fucking everywhere.
He got great distribution.
No, I'm talking about the name, John. Greg, I'm talking about the name.
No, but I'm saying it. But it's I like. I mean, I think it's what listen, like college kids and fucking. When you go to clubs and shit like that, everybody can relate. Yeah, Bang. I don't know. I thought
Redline was a great name. I wish I could use it.
Fucking go with that.
I like the name Redline too. But who's going to argue with $300 million a year?
I thought maybe Red Bull got into the got pissed off about it or something like that. Maybe
Monster sued him.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he won.
Yeah, because he was right.
I know.
They were crying. They were crying like when Blackman was like suing Weeder. You remember?
Yeah.
I like root beer right here, baby.
What's really funny about that lawsuit when Bleckman sued Weider is that he sued him because Weider was airbrushing the muscular development or the Twin Lab logos off the stage pictures. Right?
No. Hey, but I got to admit, John.
And then they found out they did in the depositions they had to produce documents. And they found out that Twin Lab did more business since then. They couldn't prove a loss and couldn't prove damages. And the whole thrown out. And Weider's still airbrushing the freaking Twin Lab logo off.
John Nito, you got to admit, Ripped Fuel was fucking unbelievable shit.
Made the company. That's what made the company.
Right.
Period.
Ripped Fuel was the fucking best, bro.
Quinn was
they
the
still have
first to
never made
market
anything
on
like
that, on ephedra.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
I was part of the Ripped Fuel model search.
That was the best
launched product.
I love that Rip Fuel, man. Oh my God, that shit. I'd be like this, you know, forget about it.
It's funny, Greg. You're so anti-drug, but you loved your stimulants, huh?
I love stimulants, bro. I love them. I got to simmer down, though, with them. You know what I'm saying? My friend just came out with his thing, Game Face. It's a fucking nootropic. I love that shit. You mix that shit, forget about it. You mix it with the, with your pre-workout. But I got to watch. The nose starts bleeding and shit like that.
Look, you're 60 years old now, man. You got to be careful.
I know. It infects the fucking shpakim, too. You know, when you know what I'm talking about. Them stimulants, they hit,
What'd you call the wedding tackle again? What was that?
Oh, you mean you shake it when you release the hostages, you shake it in general. You're releasing them hostages there? Forget about it.
Firing off some knuckle children.
Dude, it comes out. Remember when you take the Rip Fuel? I used to go in the bathroom and go to pee, and you got like the worst urge to piss, and then one little drop comes up, bing, bing. Your fucking prostate's like a goddamn.
Yeah, it's the smooth muscle. It's the smooth muscle that receptors on this. I don't know if you read this morning in the Journal of Urology and Proctology. The doctor can tell. There's nothing to worry
Just
about.
drink a little red wine. It'll dilate. You got to dilate a little bit.
Pheno Viagra.
I get to
we got Jimmy the Bull.
Jimmy the Bull, throw the hose over your shoulder.
What's going on?
I don't got a lot of time. I just got to share something with you.
All right.
With who?
With you. Who the fuck you think
Jimmy says to me, John,
Jimmy
says to me, all I do is bitch and complain. I said, that's all we want to hear you do is bitch and complain.
Miserable. I'm miserable. I'm miserable. I got to show you this, though. I walked under a Indian burial ground. I had to
you might be cursed now.
I'm not supposed to walk under it, but I had no choice.
You have too much bad luck already in your life. You need more?
I know. I didn't want to go under it.
You better say a voodoo prayer or something like that.
Just please explain to me, John, you're good because you're good with history and all of that, because we climbed the Jefferson fucking Memorial together and all of that. So I want you to view this structure and please tell me what the fuck it is, okay?
We might have to have a seance for Jimmy.
We might.
He might have a spirit in him.
What the hell is that? What is this, John?
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
What is this? Oh.
Don't touch him, Jimmy.
What the
Jimmy, you better
is
get
that?
the fuck out of there. Drop that fucking hose and get out of there, man. Out of there, brother. That's bad. Get out of there. That's juju.
Bad juju.
What the hell is that?
I would get the fuck out of it if I were you.
You better light and burn a candle or something like that and say a prayer.
Yeah, you better stop at the church on the way to the next stop and light a candle.
So I got to get you medical. So Saturday, some kid shot at me with a fucking arrow through the window.
What?
I was upstairs. And I'm going in the yard. I was throwing his garbage pails out of the way because the field was behind all the guy. I was pissed off because I'm getting aggravated and shot. So I started throwing the garbage pails all over the fucking driveway. All of a sudden, the kid opens the window and he shoots a fucking arrow at me. I got fucking full of shit. Thank God I had a fucking rubber tip on. I yell up the window. I go, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
He's yelling, what the fuck are you doing to some kid?
The pails are in the fucking way over here. I'm trying to make an oil delivery for you motherfuckers. You want to shoot arrows at me? You fucking moron! shit, I can't take it no more. I'm at my wit's end.
Can you imagine seeing Jimmy in your
Not my
backyard?
wit's
You wake up and he's in your backyard with a hose.
Fucking Saturday, I pull up to this house. It's my last delivery. I pull up to this fucking house. It says zero fill bazooka, right? That means it's in front of the house. So it's in Queens. I pull up to the house. The houses are very close together. I see the fill in the driveway. I said, oh, geez, there it is right there. Thank God. I pull out. Stick the bazooka in there. You probably don't know what a bazooka is, but I stuck it in there anyway. And I'm filling it up, right? I put in 250 gallons. I had the whistle. I'm going deaf too, by the way, because the fucking whistle. 2 months, I can't even hear anything anymore. I fucking put the bazooka in the ground. I start filling up 250 gallons. I close the fucking the gun, and I say, I'm looking at the driveway, and I'm looking at the house next door. I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, man. This don't look like the fucking guy's driveway.
You filled up the wrong house?
Holy shit, I got the fucking neighbor. I gave him 250 gallons. Right? So now I got to knock on the fucking door. Where the hell am I now? 1593 Arkansas. Hey, Jesus Christ, perfect. So I knock on the guy's door. I realized that the fill was in the grass, hiding like a Vietnamese, waiting for the fucking American troops to come. He was sunk in the fucking grass, right? I said, look at it. Who puts the fill over there in the grass like that? These motherfuckers. The fill was buried in the grass. The other one was 10 feet away.
I don't know. I
got
can't see any of them.
Yeah. So anyway, make a long story short, I knock on the guy's door. I said, excuse me, sir. I made a little mistake here. He said, what happened? I said, I gave you 250 gallons of oil. He goes, I was waiting for an oil delivery today. I said, well, this wasn't the one you were waiting for. I said, because you got a ticket in your mailbox from a previous fucking delivery. I said, I just gave you some more. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, I said, I can put my boss on the phone with you? I said, maybe he'll give you a discount on the oil or something, you know? Fucking my boss gets on the phone with him. I pump the right fill, and I leave. My boss calls me 20 minutes later. He says, you ready for this? I said, what? I'm fired, right? It was a fucking $780 bill. He goes, no, the guy just paid it on his credit card. He said, fuck it. I was like, oh, my God, thank God.
You got to
get
so you made a money, Jimmy.
You should tell him you need 10%.
Yeah.
I was being nice to the guy. I was being nice. I was being you know how I am. I'm a little charming and all that. You know what I mean? So I think the guy
He probably felt bad for you, Jimmy. I would have bought the gas too.
You know, no matter how bad a day I'm having, I watch
Bill.
one of these days in the life of Jimmy Fletcher.
I gotta go over here. Look at it. There it is.
It's like the window at Disneyland.
Unbelievable.
It's very,
John,
John, don't you
Dave,
think
I
it's
gotta
very
get your medical.
frightening
I
what
know
Jimmy
you
does
went
on a daily
back in the
basis with
day.
that hose?
Dave, when you were younger, I know you went to med school and all that. You got a little bit of background in medical. So I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I've been going to this dermatologist. I had a little cyst on my back, right?
Yeah.
So she cuts it. She didn't even cut it open. I don't know what she did. She stuck a Haagen-Dazs scooper in there, and she scooped it out my back, right? After she ejected it.
Yeah.
So then she stuffs a cord in there. What do they call that? When they stick a cord in the fucking wound. Packing?
Yeah.
So she packed it with this string. I didn't even know she did that. So the next couple of days, I had a friend over at my house. And I says, yo, can you take a look at this wound on my back? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, something's sticking out of that motherfucker. I said, well, what is it? I don't know, man. It looks disgusting. I said, well, pull it out. So he fucking pulls it out. It was like 3 inches long. It comes out of my back. And he throws it on my bathroom sink. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He goes, I don't know. You told me to pull it. I said, what the fuck? So I had to call up the fucking doctor and say, I just pulled something disgusting out of my back. Looked like a dead worm. About 2.5 inches fucking long. Could you tell me what that was? Oh, she said you pulled the packing out. I says, well, you think you could have told me what it was? I pulled it out of my back. Oh, you weren't supposed to pull it out. I said, well, I got to come in. You got to repack the fucking thing, right? Bro, this is 5 times later. I was there yesterday. She dug my back for the 5th time, 5 weeks in a row. She's been digging my back with this Haagen-Dazs scooper and putting the thing on it. This is a new doctor now. So she comes over to me. She's like, no, assistant or something. So she comes over. She says, yeah, she said, I'm going to put a packet in. And I said, listen, how long is this going to go on for? My health insurance ran out at the end of February. I'm not going to be able to keep coming back here. And fucking, I'm dead in the water here. You got to do something with this back. She says, well, it's almost healing. I'm going to put the packing in, and she goes, take it out Wednesday. I said, well, today's Monday. You told me to take it. The other lady told me to take it out 10 days. You're telling me to take it out Wednesday. Oh, well, you should keep it in for 10 days. I said, well, who's right here? The other lady or you? You're telling me to take it out Wednesday. This son of a bitch told me to take it out 10 days. Who's right here? Well, it can get infected if you leave it in for 10. Well, your friend's telling me to leave it in for 10 days. I mean, so these people fucked up. What is it with this world, man, today? Jesus Christ. The motherfucker's making $500 a pop on me. I went 5 times. She's working. I got to go back another 5 days. She's working on $3,000 on me already, this motherfucker.
The pop a pimple. The pop a pimple.
I want a fucking percentage.
Jimmy, I thought you go to the VA.
I should have went to the VA. You know why? I tell you why. They would have fucking thrown me on my face. They would have sliced my back open, carved that shit out of my back, stitched it up, and sent me home.
Right.
And that would have been the end of that.
It would have been like a on the battlefield
lady,
wound.
Huntington Village, like she's up a dermatologist fucking person. You know, I'm wasting my fucking time over there.
If you went to the VA, you'd have a fucking janitor would have done the operation.
Yeah, it would have worked though. It would have been fine.
The fucking VA.
It would have been the scar would have been about a foot long though, probably.
They would have had one of the janitors from the VA do the
Listen, bro, I don't have any qualm with the VA. The fucking VA's been good to me for many years, bro. Many years. All right?
Hey, Jimmy, have you seen that Asian dentist lately?
Huh?
Have you seen the Asian dentist you used to go to?
I have a dentist there, yeah.
No, you remember you used to go to that Asian woman?
They only pull teeth and do fillings. That's it.
Hey, Jimmy, you remember you used to go to that Asian woman who used to shove her?
Implants, I would have had fucking teeth a long time ago if these motherfuckers did implants.
Jimmy, listen to me. You remember?
He's asking about the Asian dentist.
The Asian dentist who used to put her fat boobs in your face?
The Asian dentist?
Wasn't there an Asian woman who used to put her fat boobs in your face?
Wait a minute. I can't hear you. Hold on.
He's talking about the Asian dentist.
You used to have an Asian dentist who used to, when she would lean into you, her fat boobs would cover your face, she used to say.
No, she was a lesbian, not an Asian dentist. She was a lesbian.
Same thing.
Her fucking tits looked like 2 watermelons. And she used to lean on me and she used to smother me with her tits. I don't know if she did it on purpose or what. So one time she was, giving me a root canal, and she's pulling the root out, and I'm going through the fucking roof. I'm all sweating. The fucking paper sheet is stuck to my fucking head, my neck, my face, right? So my girlfriend walks in. She sees me ripping the fucking arms off the seat, sweating to death. She's going, what's going on here? I couldn't even talk, right? So she says to me, to my girlfriend, oh, well, he has an overactive nerve. I said, no, you didn't give me enough morphine, motherfucker. What are you, overactive nerve? You got to inject me some more. I never went back there. The guy, her partner, called me up for a $1,500 bill. I got on the phone. I said, listen, motherfucker, $1,500? You're fucking, I got tortured there like fucking housework in fucking Germany. I said, you think I'm going to pay you fee? I'm going to sue you for medical fucking whatever that shit is. You cocksucker. And then I never heard from the guy again. Unbelievable, Dave. I don't make this shit up. This is
Jimmy,
all shit that
hold on
goes
a
out of my
second.
life every fucking day, man.
I gotta go.
Every day.
All right, Jimmy.
I gotta go. I got an actual meeting. I gotta go.
Oh, you do?
Get out of here,
Yeah.
really?
You're not allowed to.
Some of us work for a living.
All right, John.
Love you, Jimmy.
I love you too. I gotta go too. I gotta finish working over here.
All right. Take care, Jimmy. We'll talk to you later.
All right, I'll
love
see
you
you
guys,
guys
man.
later. I'm sorry I gotta go, but this is unavoidable.
All right.
You guys carry on. You're doing a great job. I love you.
We're wrapping this up soon anyway. I laughing too much. I have a headache.
Greg, I love you.
We love you, Jimmy. We love you.
All right, I see you guys
All
later.
right, later.
Take care, Jimmy.
All right, take care, man.
All right, Greg. Since we lost to Jimmy and John, I got to ask you this question. Obviously, Kobe Bryant going down to that helicopter crash was a real big, shocking event that happened with the world, and obviously we send our condolences out. A lot of people, just talking about Kobe. His daughter died, and there was another, there was a coach on the team, 2 coaches, and their kids were on the helicopter. So there was a lot of people who perished in this helicopter wreck. But I don't know if you saw that this comedian Ari, what's his name? Put that up on the screen, Tyler. What was the guy's name? Ari Schaefer, right? He did this whole thing about on his Instagram about how he was glad that Kobe died. He should have died 23 years ago for raping that girl. I mean, do you think that was... A lot of people are very upset about this guy. It had to be in pretty poor taste. Don't you think?
If you're asking me, Greg, I don't know if you have, I'm sorry, Dave, if you're asking me, yeah, I thought it was in very poor taste.
Yeah.
Obviously, guy's dead, okay? I don't remember the outcome of that trial, but I do remember
they
Kobe
paid off the
going
girl.
for-
They paid the girl off. Yeah,
They paid the girl off for whatever reason. Listen, we've never walked in the shoes of a superstar, so you don't really know what's right and what's wrong, what actually happened, what did it. The bottom line is that they settled it. They paid it off. I mean, listen, this happens to the politicians all the time. Senators have a fund for that, right?
Yeah.
We found out recently. AMI, right? There's a history of shut up money being paid to people. So we don't really know what happened. Overall, I think it was very, very poor taste. It was very, very new. There are many people that died. It wasn't just Kobe and his daughter, as you said, Altobelli, the coach, the pilot. There were several others in there who are innocent people in all of this. And we're talking about death. You know, we're not talking about lifetime jail sentences here. We're talking about death and an innocent daughter. Hypothetically speaking, even if Kobe was guilty, you know, he was in California, I think. There's no death penalty in California. Okay, so he didn't. They wouldn't have. Even if he would have been found guilty, they wouldn't have committed him to death. But his daughter didn't deserve to die, and nobody else.
Those other people, yeah.
Yeah, neither did any of those people. So in very poor taste. I heard about it. I haven't seen it, and I don't even want to see it, to be honest with you. Our company put something up on behalf of Kobe Bryant. I mean, he's a 41-year-old living legend. And for me, Dave, like, I was old enough to remember Elvis Presley dying back in the 70s. Right. Certainly old enough to remember Michael Jackson dying. And now there's Kobe Bryant. To be honest with you, it's as big as anybody's death in my lifetime, to be honest with you. I
mean, there's a lot. And
it's sad.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely sad. It's sad for the sport. This is a global superstar that you're talking about who, from what I've seen on social media, and I'm not huge and participating on social media, I keep up with because I have to for the business. There are plenty of people that he influenced and inspired. So we know that, right? And again, you're just talking about a global superstar who had a family. And this man meant a lot, not only to his immediate family, but to the basketball community and to society and the population in general. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a role model for a lot of people who perished here. And it's not funny. It's not funny.
Greg, what's your take on that? Did we lose him? It's just you and me.
I don't see Greg. I think
just
it's
the two of us.
All right.
You know what, Tyler? Play with that guy. Play Ari's little segment there. Ari Schaefer's segment.
Guys, I know there's always a lot of like hate, pain in the world, and there's always a bunch of terrible stories. And every once in a while, there's a good story. Good story comes out. The guy who got away with rape got his today.
I see me, but I can't
Bryant.
I hear you, Greg.
God, I'm here.
Can you see me?
The home of the team that originally drafted him. Maybe he wouldn't have raped that chick in Denver if he had stayed in Charlotte with the Hornets. But anyway, the point is, dude, it's like.
All right, so that was Ari Schaefer, the comedian, who basically was saying that, you know, the Kobe got what he deserved, but obviously, you know, like you pointed out, Carlo, whether you agree or disagree with whatever happened with that rape allegation that was paid off, there were a lot of innocent people on that helicopter, aside from Kobe, and I you know, people just get nuts around these type of things. You know, I think that people say sensationalistic shit just because they want to get noticed. Obviously, everyone's talking about this video, so the guy, if he was looking for hits and social media, you know, engagement, he definitely got it. But I know he lost a lot of followers, and a lot of people probably are threatening his life and stuff like that. So I just think there's a lot of demented people out there. He's definitely got something wrong with him to even bring it up. Whether he believed that to be the case or not, you don't say it the day after something, you know, like this happens. You know, if you want to be interviewed on a talk show a week or 2 or 3 from now, and you want to give your opinion, fine. But it was just in poor taste, I thought.
I know Ari Schaefer.
Oh, you do?
I know. Yeah, Joe Pietaro and I done interviews with him. He's crazy is what it is. He's nuts. He's one of those guys that dresses up in a Ku Klux Klan outfit and then go in Harlem and shit like that. And,
oh, really?
And going like a Popeye's fried chicken with the Ku Klux. And you see him going, all the black people like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? he also one time picked up a fucking, he went over where all the Mexicans are, and he picks them all up in a truck, and he says, come on, I'm going to take you. Well, I need you bunch you to work. So they all get in a truck, and he drives right to fucking immigration, and they all jump out and start running away and shit like that. He does shit like that. So sometimes, he does things to be outrageous. Now, I didn't hear that whole interview because ever since we talked about Red Bull and Red Line and shit and fucking Rip Fuel, my computer's been excited here and it keeps fucking popping out on me. But regardless, I think he's just, I don't know. I didn't hear that interview, but I think he's trying to be outrageous. He likes to say fucked up shit.
I think it sounds like he was just being sensationalistic.
You know that, right? He's one of Joe Rogan's best friends.
I didn't even know that, no.
They're best friends. He's always on Joe Rogan's show. But he's always, and even Joe Rogan said that sometimes Ari has a way of getting in under your skin. Like, he'll do shit to Joe that, like it pisses him off. But he's like that. I mean, Joe Pietaro and I've interviewed him and talked with him and stuff.
Really? Is he a New Yorker?
I'm not sure. I think he is a New Yorker. I'm not sure. Like, yeah. I don't know, but he's fucking crazy. But hey, listen, I'm whatever Kobe Bryant did, he doesn't deserve to die. I mean, and nothing. But all those people that died, his mother, the whole family, the Out the Belly family, the mother, the father, and the daughter died. I think there were kids that are still alive that are home now that don't have parents because of that. And I don't know too much about the chopper crash, but I heard that they ignored the warning of low fog, and they were flying so low that the Burbank air traffic control even told them, you're too low. You got to go higher. You shouldn't even be in the air. And he crashed right into a mountain.
Oh, wow. Is that what happened?
Yeah, apparently the state helicopters had all been grounded due to dense fog, and they decided they were going to go up. They were going over to the arena for the basketball game or something like that. But in any event, whatever the circumstances is, the guy's a jerk. Bottom line, this guy Ari, whatever his name is, I don't even follow him, and I'm glad I don't, because that would irritate the crap out of me if I found that out.
I don't know what did he say? What did he say, guys?
He said that Kobe should have died 23 years ago when he raped that girl. Good for him. It's a good day or something like that.
Well, that's fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
But he is like that. I'm not saying he was kidding, guys. So simmer down. I don't know if anybody out there, when they listen to Valentino, you talk too much. You're talking over Dave. Fuck you. Anyway, you tell the same story. But I don't fucking know I don't know if he was kidding or not. So I'm not saying he's kidding. I don't know. But he is like that. He likes to say anybody could go down in Harlem and wear a Ku Klux Klan.
He's out of his mind if he does that.
And walk in a chicken place over there, like a Popeye's chicken. And you got to have some pair of balls on you.
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you.
You could have a camera and be kidding it all, but you know what? If someone puts a gun up to your head and shoots you, it's too late.
It's all fun and games until you're not here anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being serious. I don't know. That is a fucked up thing, and too many. I mean, there's another mother and a little daughter that lost their lives there. There were a couple kids.
Yeah.
So there's families now without parents because of that.
It's a very, very sad story. But the truth of the matter is, Greg, if it wasn't Kobe Bryant in that helicopter, no one would be talking about it. You know that.
If it was you or I, nobody give two shits.
It would get a little blurb somewhere, and that would be the end of it. But
if it was me, you know what they'd say? Dave, if it was me, you know what they'd say? Well, now he won't talk over Dave Palumbo on his show. He won't fucking tell the same fucking stories. People just fuck you.
Greg, I love you. Carlo, thank you for joining us again today and giving us your insights and your funny stories. And good luck with the website's thechickenpound.com if you want to get the best chicken delivered right to your house on dry ice. Call up Carlo.
Fuck Popeye's chicken. Go to Carlo's Chicken Pound. Fuck Popeye's chicken. That's real chicken.
I love the what was it? The lemon lime balsamic. Is that what it is?
Cilantro lime balsamic.
That's my favorite. I eat it every night.
Balsamic. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, we got to send you some stuff, Dave.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I love it. It's great stuff. And guys, Great show today. Jimmy the Bull, wherever you might be. Thank you for joining us, John Romano. I hope you're having a good meeting. I'm Dave Palumbo for another edition of After Hours. Enjoy your day.